This is a quick introduction to the Scala programming language. In order to follow along, you'll need the REPL, which is the read eval print loop. You can download that at scala-lang.org. If you click on the download Scala link, you'll see that the REPL has been packaged for a number of different operating systems. So assuming that you've set that up correctly, Scala is available in the command line. And I'll just go through quickly and show some of the basic value types that are available. Of course, we have integers, and with an L, you can make that a long. Doubles, floats, strings, characters, and booleans. And of course, many of the familiar operators are available. Integer addition, string concatenation, some Boolean operators, and an OR. Now, the next thing to talk about is variable naming. If we take this example, we're saying create a variable called x and assign to it the value 5. Of course, due to the type inference algorithm in Scala, we know that it's of type integer. We can now reassign a value, say 4, to x. Now this is called mutability, and it's actually the best practice in Scala to avoid this. And there's different syntax if we want to disallow that kind of reassignment. So if we call it a val instead of a var, if we try to reassign to x, we'll get an error. Now, though this may seem like a really big constraint, it's actually a useful property to avoid mutable state in large bodies of software. And it leads to a property called referential transparency, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. So now now that we have the ability to name values, we can do some examples with some of the collection types. So for instance, a list and this is list concatenation, the double plus. And a string is not technically a list of characters, but you can convert it to a list of characters using the toList method. And if we assign that to a value, we can get the ith element using this accessor. Sets are the other basic kind of collection. And here this concatenation operator works like set union. Set union itself is also available, as is set intersection. And then lastly, we can ask if a particular element is contained in a set. And then the final collection type to talk about, the really basic collection types, would be the map. Which is like an associative array or a dictionary in other languages. We can get a value that's associated with a key by using this syntax. However, it's actually the best practice in Scala to use the get method, which is going to wrap the return value in the option monad. So we can get a value, for instance, that doesn't exist. And by doing that, we avoid getting a runtime exception. We'll talk about how to work with the option monad in a later video.